boys?
Yeah, you said congrats,
Nice.
10 boys.
Nice. There's 10 boys.
You got too horny, and that's why.
I don't want him to come. Jake, how horny does this make you?
Very horny.
It's one big joke, believe me. Minnesota sports in all sorts. You see, they know it's never gonna get easy. You see, they know it's Minnesota, constant pain and misery.
And I'm a part of Al Qaeda.
It's 10K TV. It's one big joke, believe me. Minnesota sports in all sorts.
Dude, he could turn Daniel Jones into Brett Favre.
Minus the penis pics.
You can legally smoke crack.
What is a DVOA?
I went dicks, vaginas, or ass.
I think that's what it is.
Don't know much except to yell.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of 10K TV presented by 10,000 Takes. My name is Bossman, joined by journalist Jake and Sarge. And for those of you who are Gopher football fans, we just got some pretty big news. Roman Voss, who is not related to our very own Marissa Voss, for everyone asking, has officially committed to the University of Minnesota, who was competing with Alabama. We were competing with Alabama to recruit this kid, and he chose the U. Pretty big news. Apparently a 4-star recruit for 2026. Plays tight end, quarterback. I would imagine he also could punt and kick and fucking coach and do
Punch,
everything
fight,
else.
skate.
From what it sounds like, this kid can do it all. So Jake, how excited does this make you?
Not very excited. No, I'm just joking. I'm rock hard right now. I mean, this just happened. My shorts are tight and sweaty because it is hot as balls out. But
Yep.
This makes it a little more bearable today, just because he did commit over Alabama, Auburn, looking at other schools, Kansas State, Miami, Oklahoma, UCLA, USC, even Wisconsin. So now the Gophers. He is the class of 2026. So he. Now we have like the 14th best recruiting class going into 2026.
Unreal.
Which is insane. They keep stacking up these top recruits, not only top recruits, but like top in-state recruits. You know, like Howie Johnson, Andrew Trouter, a couple of the other ones in that class. And so the way they're moving, I mean, I'm telling you, PJ's doing something. He just needs to keep the coach, he needs to be coaching these players
where
well.
are we going with this?
Yeah, we need to coach well. Okay, it's one thing to recruit, but coach well. Call the right play calls. Pass if your quarterback can pass. Run the damn ball when you want to run the ball.
Pass on 3rd and long.
Don't lose to Bowling Green.
Pass on 3rd and long.
Don't lose to Bowling Green. Don't lose to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. You know, people can have their qualms about PJ as much as they want and their criticism, but you could never say that he doesn't know how to recruit because the guy, his energy and the culture he builds, it does work. And it's when I saw, I'm not going to lie, when I saw this on Thursday that this Roman kid was a big deal and he was deciding between Alabama or the U, usually you think to your head, well, by default, he's going to go with Alabama. Now, I would say on the flip side of the argument that you could probably use is, okay, man, you go to Alabama, you're just another one of the best players in the country that are going there. You want to come to the U, you can actually be like one of the best players on the team. You're going to get playing time. You're going to get exposure. I'd imagine at Alabama, it's like a training camp at the NFL where you're not guaranteed a spot. Let's be honest, at a smaller school than Alabama, like Minnesota, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot if you're above average, you know, if you're really good. Above average, yes. So a good decision.
Yeah.
Huge decision. And I mentioned it. Did you see what I think I played a part in him getting recruited. Did you see my pitch?
I did not. No.
So under his tweet, so he said 3 days ago, I will be making my college decision on Monday, June 23rd. Kind of funny, he created a graphic with himself on it and then the U's logo and Alabama's logo.
Okay.
I didn't send this to you ahead of time, so.
Yeah, okay. No, that's
It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
And so everyone was in the comments, you know, pitching their piece on, you know, why he should go where. I said, Roman, you don't know me, and I probably don't carry a lot of weight for your decision, but the University of Minnesota has a first-class program thanks to their staff. Their onside kicking coach, Mike Hawk, even won Times Person of the Year. Just one example. And it's
okay. There it is.
a Photoshop of Coach Hawk on Times
Yeah.
Person of the Year. So I would imagine that flipped If anything, it was the straw,
Guaranteed.
It wasn't
the straw
PJ.
that broke the camel's back.
I mean, you got to go to the university with the only onside kicking coach in the entire country. So
Yeah.
it's got to happen. But I love seeing that. And I saw we had another quarter. I looked him up. Another quarterback. He's just a 3-star, but he flipped his commit from Boston College to the U. His name is Furian Ferreira.
That's
Furion.
not real.
That's a real dude. Yes.
How Italian?
Yeah. Or Latino. I don't know. I think that's Italian. But
Okay.
Fleck doing well, man.
Quarterback school. Mm-hmm. Or / quarterback / tight end / could play any position school.
Athletes.
Apparently Roman.
Yes.
Also, you know what? The narrative that we can't recruit in state, which has never really been a thing for football, but more or less basketball and other sports, is not dead with football. PGA does very good at recruiting in state. Mm-hmm. Coy Parrish, now Roman. You're talking top tier talent. Coy's going to stay. He's not going to transfer like everyone said he would. People are already saying this guy's going to be hard to keep. I'm like, he hasn't even played a day of football here yet. He won't play a day of football here until at least a year from now. So let's calm down on it's going to be hard to keep him here. Let's just enjoy the fact that we landed a big recruit.
I think if Coy's going to stay, I think that's a big determining factor that I think he's going to stay. It's going to be a problem. Like I mentioned last week, Tim Brewster had some of the best recruiting classes in his first couple years with the Gophers since maybe forever. But none of those, you wouldn't recognize any of the players because they didn't stay here for more than a year because he was a horrible coach. PJ keeps these guys here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And if they leave, they're going to the NFL. So
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, let's just hope that.
That's the only reason they're leaving. Yeah, because you can only be in college for 4 years, right?
Right.
If at max,
Yeah.
or maybe 5 if you're redshirted.
5,
but-
6. If you take Parker, our friends Parker, Fox, Tanner Morgan, their career path kept you there a little longer.
Yep.
But yeah, good stuff. So let's get into the actual agenda of the show. This literally broke like 20 minutes ago, so we had to throw it in there. But Panthers win the Stanley Cup, back-to-back champions, beating the Oilers in 6 this time. I'm not going to say I called it. I did call it. I'm not going to say Iran called it. They tweeted that morning, the world is in for a surprise tonight. And sure as shit, the Florida Panthers just buried the Oilers 2 years in a row. So did me and Iran call it? I think we did. Before I pass it to you guys, here's just a quick fact. Nico Sturm and Dmitry Kulikov are 2-time Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah.
Former Wild players.
Add them to the list of other Minnesota athletes, random Minnesota athletes in all of our 4 of our major sports that go on to win championships with other teams, even though they probably didn't contribute a whole lot.
Yeah.
So
Kulikov, it seems like, played a decent amount of minutes with Florida.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Nico Sturm was on them until I saw him on TV skating around with the cup. I was like, wait, what?
yeah, he's
Same guy who we traded to at the deadline against Colorado the year they won it. Like, this guy's a cup merchant.
I know.
His agent. He's got the best agent in the game.
It's like, you know who's going to win a cup next year? This team. Go with them.
We need to just pick up Nico Sturm. Text Billy G. Say, get him at the deadline because that's the kiss of victory.
I guess, but
Picking up him.
yeah, we'll see. I think bring some sort of good luck or something, but I don't know. It is funny how he goes to. He was a young guy. I mean, he got drafted by the Wild, but then every other team he goes to, they win a cup. He didn't win it here, so maybe it wouldn't work in our favor that way. But
His agent's pitch is like, he doesn't even need to play. This guy's just you can scratch him every single night if you want, and he's gonna go on and win it.
what's this guy going to do for our team? Well, have you checked the rosters of the last couple Stanley Cup winning teams?
He's got 2 mugs.
Do you see his name on there?
He's got 2 rings.
Don't look at the stats.
He's got 2 benders.
You want cups? You want
Florida.
parades? Yeah.
Yeah, bring in Nico Sturm.
Get Nico Sturm in there.
Yeah.
So
Brad Marchand, just a all-out performance. 37 years old, gets traded to one of his rivals after his hometown team, or not hometown team, but the team he's been with his whole career, ships him off at the deadline, and he goes out, wins a cup. And now he's thanking every team that traded players to the Panthers
So
for
funny.
trading them to the Panthers. He did take a picture of Dmitry Kulikov and said, "Thank you" at Minnesota Wild. I'm not gonna lie, I'm okay with trading Dmitry Kulikov.
I was fine with that. I don't think anyone should be upset about that. Or Nico Sturm in the end. It wasn't a fit for us. But there's people that are obviously pissed about it. Like, oh, they go on to win. I'm like, they weren't the reason they won the cup. Like,
No.
it's
I'm gonna on the 4th of July.
Partially.
I'm gonna post an Instagram story of just where I am by a lake and say thank you at Britain.
Yeah.
That's actually so good.
Thanks at Britain.
Pretty much.
And be wearing a flag and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Playing America, fuck yeah.
You got to do that on 4th of July.
Oh, I'm bringing up the eagle costume, by the way.
Oh my God,
The
that's
inflatable eagle I wore for when we watched Sarge and I watched the Four Nations Championship and we lost. That big ass. I'm bringing that up. I got to take care of it though. I cannot let that thing pop. We need it for the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, we won the best thing we could ever win in this country, and that was the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, exactly.
And our cup was the Constitution.
Last thing that I have, at least on the cup, I know it's been pretty much a week, so anything we say has been mentioned already. Just always fun to watch the benders they go on. I really want to drink a beer at the Elbow Room.
yeah.
Kind of all in on that place after just seeing the party that they have there. And if you look up pictures of it on Google, it's just like your standard dive bar.
Yeah.
It's a really cool
Is that the
spot.
one right on the beach?
Yeah, that like they're on the balcony and
Yeah.
they're dumping beer, like, and people make fun of that. How like not a lot of people are there. I'm like, that's great for the people that are there because if this was a Leafs Cup or something, you'd get there at 4 a.m. for that party that started at 9 at the Elbow Room, and you'd be in like the 20th row. You wouldn't get beer dumped on your face if you showed up there. So I don't know. I think it's cool. Good for Florida.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that the last two back-to-back winners have been now Tampa Bay and Florida.
Yeah.
So
New
the
state
two
of
Florida
hockey.
teams. Yeah, I don't know. They should check the roster and the birthplaces of their players before they declare that. But
Canada.
something to do with their teams and their ownership down there. They could get it figured out. So,
Sure.
but yeah, I saw the cup got dented a few times before it got to the locker room. But they'll repair it. They have it ready. They'll be prepared.
They didn't take it in the ocean this year. I feel like that got vetoed after last year because I remember seeing them in the ocean with it, and I'm like, what if the thing fucking sinks and gets swept
Yeah.
away by the current?
Yeah.
Or, I guarantee that there were some changes made to the rules about that because the changes recently made were no bringing it to strip clubs because there's a guy who follows the cup around. I can't remember what his name is. I can picture his face, but he follows that thing everywhere it goes to protect it from the drunken tomfoolery.
Yep.
And last year, I remember someone standing in it in the ocean with it, and a huge wave crashes and just knocks them over with it. So I'm guessing that got vetoed. But I guess congrats to Florida doing it again.
It's Phil Pritchard is the keeper
Yep.
of the cup.
Yeah, that's him.
He's got white hair and he wears white gloves and he wears like a tux all the time. It's
Yep.
a pretty cool job, I'd say.
He's the keeper.
Yep.
I don't know.
Just every year the cup goes by, I just think about if the Wild won it. It's just a pipe dream at this point. But
Yeah, it
One
feels
day.
less and less likely every year we live.
just bullshit that this year there's no free agents available.
The first time we finally have some money that's opened up, it's really slim pickings.
And if only Sam Bennett didn't have such a great playoffs, then I don't think Florida wins the cup. But also, then I think he's a very gettable free agent, and now there's no chance.
Yeah.
Why would any of those guys on that team ever leave? You're guaranteed basically a shot at a dynasty every year. That's not worth a couple extra $1 million, and you end up making that money back in state income tax. I know that's the whole discussion right now, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like living in Florida is a heck of a lot better than
New York.
living in California or New York or
In Minnesota now.
Minnesota,
really.
Canada, like anywhere with high taxes. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Stay at the Elbow Room.
Yeah.
I'm
You know,
pretty sh-
and you're on the beach. You're warm year round.
Yeah, it's just take the golf carts to the rink. Like, I did see
know.
someone tweet today. They said at Iran, I hope Iran doesn't find pictures of our secret nuclear facility here, and it's the picture of Florida's rink.
I saw that.
That's a good one.
I think I also saw someone throw around Lambeau Field.
Yep. I thought about doing that, but I'm like, is that too far?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, that's funny.
That's good.
It's kind of funny. Dark,
stuff.
but it's funny.
Oh, actually, really good transition.
Yeah, speaking of
How about
dark.
that? Dark, yeah. Former Twins pitcher confessed to murder. Or has
Yeah,
not
allegedly.
confessed, is allegedly involved in a murder.
Dan Serafini.
Yeah, Danny Serafini, a former Minnesota Twins pitcher, was arrested in connection with the 2021 murder of his father-in-law, Robert Gary Spoor, in Lake Tahoe. Spoor was found dead from a gunshot wound from his wife. From his wife? Was his wife killed too?
So his wife,
So confused.
his mother-in-law got shot as well, but she survived.
Oh, there
but
you
she
go.
committed suicide a year later. From what I read.
Oh.
Yeah. Because she
Quotations?
was still sustaining injuries, and her husband was obviously
Terrible.
dead. So she apparently committed suicide, I guess in quotations. But
Can
apparently
anything
she-
go right for Twins pitching right now?
No. Yeah, especially no. This is not a good look. I know he pitched in like 1996 to 1998, but in this time, especially after this weekend, the way our pitching has been, and now we have a former Twins pitcher who's only here a couple years get convicted or has been convicted of murder. It's not a good look right now for our baseball.
No. Crazy story.
team.
Like I said, I opened up Instagram last week and saw that graphic, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I think the trial I thought I saw has actually been like ongoing for 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
I think he was officially arrested in 2023, but they finally have picked up. He's become more relevant because they finally picked up the case again. Like it started the proceedings of the murder trial now finally started like this week.
Yeah.
And so then his close friend, who I think was a nanny, but also their mistress, her name was like Samantha Scott, was she said she wasn't involved, but then as part of a plea deal, she said she was an accessory.
She threw him under the bus.
Threw him under and said she mentions that he confessed to it, that I did do that. She said he confessed to it, but he's still saying he didn't do it, blah, 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 and that's what they're on trial for right now. So.
Classic he said, she said.
But all evidence really kind of points to him doing it. Like apparently he was in like debt and
Dude, if he gets
don't know.
if he gets convicted guilty, he's just gonna crush the jail yard baseball games.
yeah.
All-time pitcher.
Like, yeah, it was a pitcher in the majors, man.
Yeah,
So,
crazy stuff.
no, it's nuts. It's
Sarge,
really
you got to do a full breakdown on that for the underline account,
absolutely.
because there's not a lot of else. Not that that's positive news, but there's not really a lot of news in general for the Twins. It's all really bad. So
Yeah.
let's just pile it on.
Yeah, and the positive thing is if he gets convicted of murder, if he truly did it. So
If he gets acquitted, do we get an extra win in the win column?
I think so. Just because,
Just flip one of the losses to a win.
just give us something.
Yeah.
I don't know, because that would just be another bad look on
Oh,
us.
just terrible.
On the brand. Not a
I
good
couldn't
look.
get worse at this point. I mean, I guess we could be Colorado. We could be that bad. We're going to get to the Twins in a little bit. But
Yeah.
let's move on to KD. So KD got traded to the Rockets this weekend. I don't think it should have been too much of a shocker to anyone that he didn't come to Minnesota, considering he said he didn't want to.
Yeah.
No, he didn't want to come here. I think people were already saying like a couple weeks ago, like he's not coming here, and people were throwing out all these trade proposals and all that. But people were bringing up like it's going to be Texas or Florida or Miami or Texas because of taxes. People brought up
Right.
taxes again with him, and it's like that's probably very true. But then he talks
Yeah.
about the cold.
Just because Ant's favorite player was KD growing up doesn't mean KD's going to come here out for nothing. I mean, I think we dodged a bullet. I saw some trade proposals. There were some pretty wild accusations thrown out there of trade proposals.
Yeah.
Giving up basically the entire future of the team.
Like Dillingham, and
Terrence Shannon Jr. I saw Nas Reed in there. Like it was a little too much. I mean, I get if you want to go into win now, you probably would have picked him up, but then you lose your depth. So
it really doesn't balance out to me.
has he I know he was good in the Olympics and he was pretty good against us in the playoffs 2 years ago. How was he last year? It didn't feel like the Suns were that good of a team last year.
They weren't. I think
He's
he
always
was
hurt, too.
Yeah, he was injured. I think what felt like half the year again.
And he's got scales.
Yeah.
So he averaged 26.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.2 assists.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Pretty good, actually.
That's good when he plays. I
does
think
play.
he was injured. Is it so many games he played?
I can look.
People were, while you're looking that up, people in the meantime were pulling an old tweet from November 9th of 2009. He said, 30 degrees is too cold. I'd rather run in the letter N, and 90 degrees. I was in Minnesota last year and walked outside, and he did and this time, and
Okay.
my face started to hurt in 50 degrees.
That's ridiculous.
Your face shouldn't hurt in 50 degrees. That's because he doesn't moisturize. I've told you guys about it. Have you ever seen his scales? Mm-hmm. His skin is so dry, he's got scales.
Yep.
And I would imagine the desert did not help.
No.
So
You played 62 games last year.
So he missed 20 games.
Yep.
it's about a fourth of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
Less?
maybe a little less. I think the year before he missed more, but it's like you are getting older. And
It
you're
wasn't
risking that.
last year. It was the year before. He
Yeah.
only played 8 games.
Okay.
And you're only going to have him for a short. I mean, what is he? 37.
Yeah, 37,
You got
38.
him for what? A year, 2 more years, 3 more years. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to be fighting off old age to keep playing. Like I feel like he's got a couple more runs in him and then he's done. And if you throw all in and you do that, you probably still won't beat the Thunder because they're so fucking good. I don't know
Yeah.
if anyone will ever beat them.
No, because they're so young. I mean, KD seems to me that if we didn't do anything right away or even make a finals appearance, he might want out, like Jimmy Butler situation. So, and then we would have given up so much for this guy. It just didn't. It didn't make sense to me, and I think it didn't make sense for Tim Conley either. I think he probably knew.
Yeah.
A month ago that no, we're not going. We're not getting.
Tim Conley would rather use that money to buy his own box at the Target Center because he sits
Yeah.
in seats next
He's
to
like, I'm
him
better off.
for a playoff game.
I know.
So I guess he was probably the biggest free agent on the market. I wonder what else the Wolves are eyeing down. I've been going balls deep in NHL free agency, admittedly, because I think that team needs more of my attention
Yeah.
right now than the Wolves. The Wolves
Yep.
have been good the last few years. I'm not worried about them. But I don't know who the biggest free agents are left. I mean, what do we really need? I wouldn't mind figuring out a way to get Rudy out of town, to be honest.
Yeah, I that's the one guy where I'm like, if we can find the right, trade proposal for, I think he'd be fine. I mean, he does still play well in certain situations,
Right.
but clearly deep in the playoffs, I mean, a few guys were struggling.
Although, you know what? I retract that. He was playing bad in the playoffs, and that turned me off to him. But didn't he have something going on in his personal life? Didn't his girlfriend cheat on him, who has 2 of his kids?
Yeah, I think something like that happened.
Like, he had some fucked up stuff happen during the playoffs. So, yeah, I as someone who delivered a lot of Rudy heat, that's terrible timing. Obviously, when you're getting paid that amount of money, there's really no excuses. But, yeah, I do feel bad for him if that was true. I don't know if that was just a rumor or what, but...
Yeah, I mean, that definitely probably takes a toll on you mentally, but at the same time, like, get the fuck over it and play basketball.
Yeah, just shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble.
Dribble.
Yeah, dude, I don't care what happened.
Oh,
But I mean, I'm just looking up a free agent. I mean, we probably would have to go for a trade.
I was gonna say
There's
yeah,
not
I-
really any significant options.
anyone
that's gonna
who's good
boost
is
the
just gonna
roster.
get re-signed.
Yeah.
That's kind of there's not really ever free agents just floating around the NBA like that.
No, not like the NHL. They could sign Amir Coffey. He's going to be a free agent, former Gopher hoops guy.
Okay.
But he's been like okay. He averages like how many points per game? Like 9 points per game.
Yeah, I think we need something a little bit more.
Nothing a
Yeah.
little bit more to help us.
It's gonna be
Hilarious.
it's gonna be fucking hard to beat the Thunder, and they're young, and it seems like they're gonna be doing this for a while. So, whatever team you want to build this offseason, it has to beat that, or else what's the point?
Yeah.
I would imagine that's how most teams in the Eastern Conference for hockey feel. Like, if you can't take down that, then erase it all and
Yeah.
try again.
And exactly.
It's like a math equation.
This isn't like rebuilding from scratch where some teams were okay. We just want to start from have a base and maybe make the playoffs, see what happens, build from there. Well, the Wolves now have made the conference finals the last 2 years and got destroyed.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well you're good enough to make it that far, but you can't. Clearly, you're not even close to making it. You still aren't close enough to making it to the finals. So
The expectation now is an NBA Finals, Jake.
I know.
We went from just praying to not be in the play-in to now it's NBA Finals or bust.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you start winning.
I know.
So look out.
In Minnesota,
Expectations have arrived.
in Minnesota, it's still probably hard to set expectations to be. We need to be in the finals, but it's starting to get like that with the Wolves, which is weird out of all teams because they've been so close. But
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll have to figure something out.
Yep. All right, let's talk about Adrian Peterson back in the headlines. Didn't think we'd be talking about AP twice in a little more than 2 months or a month on this show, but here we are. Adrian Peterson got in a fist fight on video following a dispute in a poker hand with a friend, by the way. If you
Oh,
read,
they were
I
friends.
read into
read
it.
the
They were
article,
buddies.
these guys are good friends, according to AP. He called it a disagreement.
I would say.
Fucking tried to knock the guy out multiple times, despite being held back, by the way. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys saw the full video.
I did.
TMZ. It's pretty rough stuff.
Yeah, and what's funny is his friend was still like not backing down, or he was like getting into it and actually got a couple shots on Adrian Peterson too.
Absolutely.
Like, he
Credit
was
to
sitting
him.
there,
Yeah, self-defense.
and he held his ground. He stayed in there. He didn't like back off, So, but I just don't know what. They said it was like a dispute over a hand. I don't know what that means. They said they don't know if someone cheated, and they're like, I don't know.
I thought the rules to poker were pretty clear cut.
Yeah. So
It's not like baseball or or football where there's like reviews or 50-50 calls, hockey, whatever. Poker is pretty much like, okay, my cards are better than your cards, right?
Straight up, like you got two pairs. Well, no, I have a royal flush, so it beats yours or whatever.
And if you have a disagreement, you just Google it, like which one's better.
Yeah.
Or
you don't know
or
that
the
enough.
Dealer just
Yeah. So
But it sounds like they played there enough. It's like some club in Houston, like
some
a poker
social
club.
club.
Social club,
Which
they go
is
to.
social. Every time I hear social club, I think of like mobster headquarters used to be
Correct.
called social clubs.
I know.
When they're just in there talking about how they're going to ravage the city that day.
Yeah, because it's not a casino; it's a
Yeah.
social club where they just play poker. Okay.
Coming on the heels of AP getting a DUI driving home from the Vikings draft party, he does claim that alcohol was involved. So, not surprised.
Okay. Yeah. No, it makes sense. I heard they made up after the fight.
Yeah, so he was quoted by saying, "Me and the guy were cool. We've known each other. It was literally like a brother situation. We agree to disagree. We had our words, we threw our blows, and that was it." So casually,
I
like,
don't know. That didn't look like a little brotherly
like
tussle. I mean,
saying like, "Oh, agree to disagree. We had a little argument. We called it a day." And then he slipped like we threw our blows, and they're like, "No, you guys tried to murder each other."
Yeah, and especially Adrian Peterson. They were trying to hold him back, and he plows through like it's a boxing match. He's trying to break through the offensive line like he's playing in the NFL again. Like that didn't look like a little dispute to you, but apparently it was. So
He also said, quote unquote, "I felt really bad. It's a situation where I kind of regret it." Keywords kind of.
kind of. So do you kind of regret your DUI too?
yeah.
Jeez, man. It's just so like
Dude, some of the comments too. There was a lot of CTE accusations. A lot of he probably wished he had a stick in that situation. There was
gosh.
real ruthless commentary around
I
the
can't
event.
imagine the people just Adrian Peterson's still staying in the news despite being retired.
He's finding a way to stay relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he can't fight.
No,
all.
right.
You could kind of see his form in that. I know he boxed and had a match.
Yeah, quote
and
unquote.
Tried to box.
boxing.
He got knocked the fuck out by Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
He should do another money grab boxing match.
Yeah.
Now that he's relevant again for terrible reasons.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, so there's been like some things going around in the boxing Twitter. So it's Aaron Donald versus a former middleweight champion, Triple G, and everyone's like, "Oh, Aaron Donald would win." No, he wouldn't.
No.
Guys, if people that just don't, yes, size does matter if they know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're
she said.
doing, they're gonna get knocked the fuck out. Yeah. That's just what it is.
Well, dude, it's like, have you ever seen the videos of people who are quote unquote professional arm wrestlers? I know that's funny, but like professional arm wrestlers will arm wrestle like a really ripped guy and beat them in like 3 seconds.
correct. Same thing.
It's
Great
it's
comparison.
it's tactical.
Yeah. There's
Correct.
strategy.
It's not just biggest guy is going to throw the hardest punch and knock out the other dude. By the way, I did see John Jones retired.
Yes.
Crazy.
officially.
Crazy. Yeah.
Until he does it and does some, maybe
He'll
him
come
and
back.
Adrian Peterson do a
He'll
celebrity fight.
be fighting Jake Paul in 3 months' time.
Before you
God,
know
I
it,
fucking
Jake Paul.
hope not.
He would actually fuck up Jake Paul because
I
John
think
Jones
so,
is a
too.
striker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
a
I
big
think
puncher.
he would. I don't think that'd be a good idea for Jake Paul.
Well,
Here's your combat sports
to go-
talk for the show.
UFC bit.
Yeah. All right, let's talk. What do we got? Merch.
Let's do it.
Let's do merch, folks. Merch has been crushing it. We really appreciate you guys for supporting us, everyone who's buying it. If you go to 10ktakesmn.com, we got all sorts of new shirts, and we got our hats on the site. Sarge, you want to, rifle through some of these pictures? Shout out to everyone who's buying the Captain's Patch merch. Shout out to Weirs for designing that. Really good stuff. We also have the Frost shirts. We have the Minnesota off-season rope hats. Actually, only 2 more of those left, by the way, the rope
Yeah,
hats.
these ones.
Yeah, so if you want one of those, buy it now or forever not have it. But 10ktakesmn.com. Thank you, too, for those who leave a tip and support us. You can actually leave a message. We'll respond with a little video, too, just as a thanks for supporting us. But 10ktakesmn.com. The Iowa Wild got their guy.
Yeah, apparently. I think this is this seems like a guy that could have still potentially had a head coaching gig.
So you want to know why he won't?
Anaheim.
Because I found a reason why he won't. So just a little backstory. Greg Cronin, the new head coach of the Wild, the Iowa Wild, sorry. It's been kind of a disaster down there ever since, we fired Tim Army, who was there for a while. Brett McLean, who was an assistant of Dean's, got the job there, had never really head coached. Did it for a year. It didn't go well. Now he's back behind the bench as an assistant for Vancouver. So it's been kind of a weird situation. Then, Greg Cronin, who was the coach of Anaheim, who Anaheim almost went 500, I believe. They had a better season than they've had.
Yeah, he led them to. He had a kind of a rough first season, but he was only there for 2 seasons. And in the second season, he led them to 80 points, which is their highest point total since 2017 or 2018 or something like that.
Right.
And then they fire him.
Yeah, then they fire him. So the naked eye would say, from an eye test would say, this seems like the greatest hire ever. Apparently he's really good at developing younger players. Apparently his players hated him a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it. We need a guy who, if he yells at them or hurts their feelings, well, maybe we need a guy like that.
Yeah.
Or they hate him. It's
So,
hockey.
Spittin' Chicklets Ryan Whitney said Cronin is absolutely despised by the Ducks players. That's what the quote was. And then, apparently he interacted poorly with players and was warned before fired. I mean, it does seem like a kind of thing where once you get fired for that, maybe you'll make an adjustment and it won't happen again.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe the Ducks, maybe you guys just need to play better and stop getting pissed at the coach for probably yelling at you. I
Their
don't know.
GM who fired this guy also just traded Trevor Zegras for basically a bag of pucks.
Yeah, right. Which I thought is insane.
Yeah.
He's a young guy that you should be building your team around. So I don't know.
Verbeek anti-Michigan.
I think so.
That's their GM.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if this Greg Cronin guy is good with development, as it sounds, I mean, this is really a crucial time for development because we have a lot of rising stars who need to, like Jesper Wallstad, like a guy like him, Carson Lambos. I mean, the pool down there is very full of emerging talent, and yeah, when you don't have the right guy at the helm, it can be disastrous for the future. So. I mean,
I don't know. This was more of an important hire than we realized. And Greg Cronin has boatloads of experience. It wouldn't have been as nice as having like a Torts, or like we were talking about,
or what's his name, Pete DeBoer.
Pete DeBoer. There
Gordon
were some
Bombay.
other big options. Gordon Bombay, Tom Thibodeau.
Yep.
Just like we were saying, just put him on the G League.
The coach from Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah, what Jason Sudeikis. Just do what you did in the show.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
But we might have got our guy.
Yeah.
Regardless.
This sounds like a good hire. I mean, the culture issues, but too, if there are cultural issues, like Billy won't put up with that. And you got to think it's got to be a little humbling to be a head coach in the NHL. I think this guy's been at least a head coach for over 18 years of his career between NCAA, AHL, and NHL. You got to think like having no other role or gig offered but an AHL job has got to humble you and maybe give you a opportunity to look in the mirror a little, reflect like, hey, maybe I got to do something better this time around.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. He's definitely going to be motivated to do better because he does not want to be an AHL coach.
No.
And if he has a really good year in the AHL, he'll be right back up.
Yeah.
So, like,
year or two.
good couple years maybe, yeah. Like,
And Guerin probably knows that. He knows he's got a guy that if he does well enough, he could go back as a head coach. But he's like, well, he's a guy that could be a head coach.
He's available.
In an AHL team.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of experience from
Yeah.
him.
Seems great. All right, the Twins. Jesus Christ. Went to 2 of the 3 games this weekend. I was utterly embarrassed, especially as someone with a lot of friends from Wisconsin, someone who went to high school in Wisconsin. Really, this is one of the only series of the year I genuinely want to win every game as hard as possible. It just feels like for personal reasons, this was always a playoff series every time we play them, and they just laid an egg.
Yeah, the fact that they did this in front of fans who took the time to come out to see them during what is probably one of the hottest weekends of the year. It was rough, and they not only lose, they they lose bad. I think I calculated like they got outscored like 35-14 in 3 games. Like
Yep.
it was like low end scoring football games. Yeah. Like for like the 3 games, like
Yeah,
they could have been
17-6.
17-6. Like those are some low scoring NFL games. Like what are we watching here? So it was just an awful, and like they had a valiant effort in trying to come back on Sunday, but like, why are you down 9-0?
Yeah,
after
it's-
dropping the first 2 games, the pitching has just been atrocious.
Why are we not starting starters either?
I don't know.
We don't have enough. They're healthy.
Or committing murder,
Yeah.
Committing murder. Yeah, allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah, hopefully we don't find out there's no more guys that aren't doing that.
And, being at these games, man, Brewers fans, shout out them. They
Yeah.
basically took over the stadium.
They did.
They come out strong.
They travel. They always travel well for this series. I mean, they're that close. But like a lot of people we talked to were traveling from Milwaukee. We did successfully brainwash them into drinking Captain's Patch,
shout out
which
to those two
ultimately
guys.
supports us. But I mean, what, Sarge? I'd say the only positive on the weekend for the entire organization was us doing fireball shots on the light rail on the way there.
Pretty much.
We railgated again.
Yep.
Just a good time. I don't know, dude. It's just. It seems like now they should just go into tank mode
Yeah.
at this
but-
point.
bright spots. Buxton is hitting the fuck
Yeah.
out of the ball.
He should be on the All-Star team.
He will, absolutely. If we keep this up, we might as well just trade him. I hate saying that,
Yeah.
even though I've been on team trade Buxton for a while for a starter, because we need starting pitching. We have the Twins are the worst, have the worst MLB in our MLB, worst ERA in the MLB in June by far.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is funny
it's
because
by a
weren't
lot.
we top 5 in May?
Correct. And,
they're-
now we slipped all the way back after this month to 22nd place.
I mean, I think we knew because we were at the game on Friday. Shout out to Unreal. We were there on Friday, and I was there Sunday again. But we knew walking out of there that when we threw Joe Ryan at them and we still lost, we're like, oh, we're gonna get swept this weekend. Like
Literally, you're talking about that on the way
we
out.
literally loaded the roster as hard as we could for Friday night's game, hoping maybe you kick their ass early and then ride the momentum. And it's just the opposite happened. I mean, I was at the game Sunday, was sweating once again. It was just Jonah McBride. I don't know. Sorry, Jonah Bride. I don't know why I said McBride.
Think of Danny McBride.
That's what I was
Eastbound and
thinking
down.
of. Jonah Bride, he seems awful. Sarge, what's the take on him? The experiment is bad.
I guess he can come in and pitch when we're getting ass fucked. I mean, that's about his only.
Yeah. Deshaun
quality.
Kiersey, he's terrible.
He's an awful batter.
Terrible batter.
Terrible batter. Great in the field.
The
but-
Clemente thing was cool. He's fallen off significantly.
Yeah.
It's cool his dad is Roberto.
Clemens. Or no, you're thinking of okay.
Clemens.
Yeah. I'm thinking we have Clemens too.
We just don't even care at this point. That's why we're butchering all this stuff. It's just infuriating. We did see Brock Nelson at the game on
Yeah.
Friday. He was sitting
nice.
like 3 rows behind us.
Nice.
And-
Kind of a tough guy to miss in a crowd.
And he's not going to come back. He's not going to come to Minnesota, really?
Also, he had his children there, and he looked like he was stressed out.
He did.
He was also wearing black jeans.
Jeez, in that heat?
I'm like, I get you're trying to look hip and young, but I also did say Suya to him, and he gave me a little smile. But he did look like he was in hell. We
Yeah.
said hi to him, and he just kind of gave us like a little nod. He was not in a good mood. So that,
He probably wanted to be there on a Friday night without his kids for the night. And
yeah. And then I
more
think
drinks.
Sarge, they probably left in like the 5th inning.
Yeah.
They were gone fast. He
Yeah.
was over it.
Yeah,
So.
it's hot.
And
Kids.
dude, shout out to all the parents on, like every Sunday's Kids Day who brought their kids on Sunday, because I saw some parents who looked like they were in hell. I mean, it was hot.
Heat.
They had screaming kids. There were drunk Brewers fans everywhere. Dude, one Brewers fan was hammered leaving the stadium yesterday. He goes, "We'll take Carlos Correa. Yeah, you guys want to give us Carlos Correa?" I'm like, sure, you can take his .218 batting average for $40 million a year. Go for it. Be my guest.
Yeah.
Fuck
He
it.
He's been on the down spell. I don't know why that's not much of a burner or a comeback. to
Yeah.
us. I don't know what
if
you're
you would
talking
say
about.
we'll take Buxton, then yeah, I'll fight you. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're trying to, I mean, Correa's my favorite player, but I'll admit he is not worth the money right now.
No, not at all.
I mean,
He could. We'll see.
just sell the team.
Yeah.
Just please sell
Need
the
to sell
fucking
it.
team to someone who will do something. I mean,
You
oh
need
my
to start
God.
over almost. Just fucking.
I'm
clean
also,
slate.
dude. I was texting in the underline chat. I'm over Matt Wallner. He's in every opportunity he has to do something special. He just pops it up to nowhere. It was so infuriating when they were finally making a little comeback there in the bottom of the ninth. Two guys on, one out, and he just pops one up to first base. It's like, you fucking kidding me?
At least
dude?
hit it hard. Hit a hard ground ball. At least the short. Make him make a play. You pop it up.
I just want to root for him so bad because he's a local guy, but it's
tough.
I guess shout out to everyone hammering Captain's Patch. That was cool. A lot of people were at the game with it, taking pictures. Brewers fans, Twins fans, just everybody was just pumped. So shout out to everyone who keeps drinking it despite the team just putting a pretty rough product on the field.
Yeah. It's been...
A few people got married at the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Witnessed that. That was sweet. That was.
They got engaged or got married?
Sorry, they got engaged.
Like they're having marriages during the games.
They should have.
Should
have a package for that.
No, they got
Have a
engaged at the
wedding.
game.
Okay.
Yeah, that was when we were down 9-4.
Okay.
So, you know what? For their sake, I was really hoping we could get the win. But, yeah, good for them. Congrats to the happy couple. And,
One positive thing for them to happen that game.
yeah.
Good for them.
All right. Congrats to the Thunder winning the NBA Finals. I feel a little animosity towards this because they beat us to get in there, so I don't want to
Care.
I didn't really care to watch the finals because I was just pissy that we weren't in it.
Yeah. I didn't really watch it. I didn't really tune in, to be honest with you. I'm like,
Me
Thunder are
either.
going to win by 20, 25 points.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't get it done in 6.
I was surprised too. It's like they wanted it's like the NBA wanted the Pacers to tag along a little bit to make it closer, but like I thought they could have won that series in 5.
Well, they had
I
to
mean,
make up for the lack of viewership that they were getting
Yeah.
throughout the series to force an extra game. Like here's a stat for you: you guys remember that 2016 Game 7 against
Yep.
OKC and
or
was it
Golden State,
Golden State
and Cleveland.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that garnered about 31 million views. Last night's Game 7 was 19. So.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, 2 smaller markets, you can't expect that. You know, it's not LeBron versus Steph, but
Yeah.
I would imagine they were like, okay, the NBA was pissed. They had to rig it so that there was a Game 7.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know. And then I saw the Halliburton injury.
Yep. Tore his
Pop.
Achilles.
Yeah.
Dude, that's happening way too much right now.
It is weird. It's like people are like, this has always happened. I don't know, man. It's like all the airplanes crashing. Like there's something with the Achilles injuries popping
Yeah.
on players. It's like, what's happening now?
Imagine that happening in Game 7, too, because
know.
now how long is he going to be out for next season?
At least a year.
He's going to be out at least a year, so
The
he
entire
might not.
season?
It could be one of those things where like he could maybe come back if they make a deep run in the playoffs or something.
Dude,
that sucks.
If you ruptured your Achilles, or tore your Achilles, like it would be worth it if you won the NBA Finals. You're like, I got a ring, no one can take that away from me.
Yeah.
Losing in Game 7 and doing that has got to hurt even more.
Ooh.
That's got to hurt so much.
Yeah, I know he already had a calf injury, and people are like, oh, he's going to maybe blow it again. I'm like, dude, like, I don't care if he's at a risk of injury. They're going to play their best player in Game 7 of a finals game.
Yep.
Like, and I don't think that necessarily puts him at a severe risk of an Achilles unless it like hinders how he plants his foot and all that. But
I'm going to make a dark joke right now.
Yeah.
The U.S. government successfully bombed Iran, and the Thunder successfully took out the Taliban.
they did. They needed to do that.
God, I just cannot get through a joke today. It ruined the punchline when I just stuttered through that. God damn it.
I know. We know what you mean.
It's 95 degrees in here.
So-
My brain is not.
It's hot as balls right now.
We can't turn on the AC in here because
It.
it'll be so loud that that's all you'll hear.
You
won't
can
even
kind of
us.
hear it in the background.
I can literally see your forehead glistening on the camera.
My brain
I'm
is.
glad I got a haircut because this would have been really bad. But
Brain is just not. I can't get through a joke. I'm trying hard, guys. Here.
it's a Monday and it's hot as balls.
Alex Caruso was drunk off 3 beers. That was pretty funny. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I did not see that, but I can see
So-
it. He's a little white boy.
Yeah, he like made a joke about how he finally got a real one now, and no one can take that away because everyone said the bubble NBA championship was a fake one
With the Lakers?
and then like no one laughed. He's like, "Come on, guys, I've had 3 beers. Like I'm just clowning," and it's like, is that a lot of beers?
Yeah, to him it probably
For sure.
is. That's funny. I've had 3 beers, guys. Come on.
There was also a younger player, I can't remember on the Thunder, who tried beer for his first time, and he hated it. And he's like, "Where's the tequila at?"
He's just for the hard stuff, man. You just won a championship. Drink whatever the hell you want, dude. They should bring tequila in there for you. I saw they also had like championship buses like painted it with championship parade or whatever, or
Yeah.
that they were champions before the game because the Indiana Pacers coach was like, "This is motivation for us." I'm like, "No, you're just seeing the script, dude."
Yeah, I saw a response to that on Twitter saying they shipped the other buses to Africa. That was a pretty funny one. Funny response to that, just like they do for the T-shirts.
The T-shirts somewhere. The Vikings are the 2009 NFC champions, and maybe the Super Bowl champions as
The
well.
1998 Super Bowl champions.
Some kid in Africa in like Kenya thinks that the Vikings won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. You're living life. You know, even though actually you're in Kenya, you might not have the best access to food and water, but you think you believe the Vikings won a Super Bowl.
You have
That's
the
huge.
Pacers bus now. The championship buses, that fucking rocks. You
Yeah.
can drive anywhere you want.
They probably have AC and everything, so you're good to go.
I guess the last thing I have to say is just congrats to Chet, another Minnesota native who found basketball success outside of Minnesota.
Yeah, good for him. Doesn't look like he could be doesn't look like he's strong at all, but he somehow is. He just looks super lanky, but you know he's a guy that could still take you down.
Dude, he's 7'1", 208 pounds.
Yeah,
I
that's
looked it up.
crazy.
I also heard he butchered the brand name Michelob because I think they had ultras at the. I don't have the clip on that, but apparently he said Michelob in a really funny way. I could see him not really knowing beer. I mean, he's played basketball his whole life.
Yeah, he's been
not
healthy,
like us.
fit, went to Minnehaha Academy. You know, I won't blame him for that.
He's
especially
been,
as a
he's been working his entire life to do what he just did last night. I don't blame him for not knowing every
Yeah.
beer brand.
No, I don't either. I'm not going to get on him too hard for that.
No. All right, let's move. Pivot back to hockey here. So we have the NHL draft coming up this weekend. Bigger draft, I'd say, for Sarge than us.
Yes.
So the Wild actually don't pick until pick 52, all part of the Jiracek trade. The Athletics' Corey Pronman has the Wild picking Theodore Hallquist in his mock draft, a 6'2" defenseman.
Yeah, it's all over the place because it goes back to the NFL mock drafts, especially in that we're picking so low. It's really a crapshoot. I've seen Eric Nilsson. He's a center from Sweden. I've seen somebody they're only going to pick a center in the 52nd pick, which I've seen other people say we're picking a goalie, and then they're like they need goalies. Okay, well they need a center too, but also do they really? Yeah, 'cause there's some Russian goalies involved like Semyon Frolov and Peter Adranov, a couple other guys.
They saw Bobrovsky won a cup, and they're
Yeah.
like, let's get a Russian goalie.
Let's
They saw him win 2 cups in a row. They're like, we need to find the next Sergei Bobrovsky.
Well, it is funny because the few goalies that I've seen that are prospected to go to the Wild are just Russian goalies. So
Yeah.
it's like they've shifted their focus. Like, fuck it, we're done with this. It's looking what's going on in Russia with the goalies.
Just Judd Brackett's like spreadsheet in general of who he wants to draft, just filter by Russian. Just like country of origin, filter Russia. All right, just any of these guys.
yeah, it's like an NHL GM mode. Like, okay, right click in the goalie positions. Who's the rated highest one? Let's just try to draft him.
Get that guy.
If he doesn't get picked, 51 picks before us, you know. But I also saw Mason West's name thrown around. He's the center from Edina.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, was that the kid who he played in the state championship game, right?
I think so. Recently,
stud.
Yeah,
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Huge, too.
You know, just pick JJ McCarthy at this.
Yeah.
point. Everyone in Minnesota is already so high on him. Just so you probably good at hockey too. So
Just draft the entire Moorhead team from last year.
just
You
do
can
it.
cut all the ones that aren't good.
Yeah, including Cullen's kids too.
Yep.
If he's not, or Cullen's nephew or whatever, Matt Cullen's nephew. So
Sarge, have you thought of who the Blackhawks are going to draft?
I want Hagens from Boston College.
Okay. Yep.
But
What's your pick this year? Is it second?
third?
Third?
Yeah, as a Blackhawks
Must be
fan,
nice.
We need a center, and there's a bunch of centers at the top, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Hagens.
what about that Andel guy, Anton
Yeah.
Andel, and then that Schrader? He's probably gonna go. What is his name? Matthew Schrader.
Matthew Schaefer.
Schaefer. He's
Yeah,
probably
you
gonna go
see
number
the guy
one.
from Long Island? There's a
I don't know.
He's from Ontario, I think. Or He
Yeah.
played in the Ontario Hockey League. Or
Yeah, I'm happy where we're at. Hopefully,
There are some good. People are saying this is a really underwhelming NHL draft. I would kind of disagree. I think there's some of those top 5 prospects I think are going to be really good.
I do too.
So
I do too.
you're in a good
Hoping for
spot
anybody.
if I were you.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. But who knows if he'll play right away? But I don't know. I liked what I saw from him in the NCAA tournament. I didn't watch much Boston College hockey this year, but
yeah.
he looked good.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, not as big of a draft as previous years, but let's talk captain's patch quick. kind of breezed over that after the Twins thing. That's all right. The only thing that can get you through Twins baseball, as we've mentioned in the past, is our beer. Captain's Patch, raspberry lemon shandy, 4.5 APV in a 16-ounce can or on tap at captainspatch.com. Shout out to everyone who's been drinking it all summer. It is the best time of year to drink one. I had a few of them at the Twins game on Sunday. It was just perfect in the heat. We deleted quite a few of them on Friday when we were talking to Brock Nelson. So shout out to Captain's Patch, Elm Creek Brewing. Once again, folks, captainspatch.com, and find it near you. Also, if your liquor store does not have it, just ask them for it. Say, can you please bring some in? It's Elm Creek Brewing, Captain's Patch. It's good stuff. I think Jake has to get out of here.
I do have to get going.
Go
but
for it. Jake's got to go battle in beer league. It's all right.
Richfield, if you want to come dox. me
Yeah,
or
if you want. Yeah, dox yourself. Dox.
Self-dox, 745.
745 in Richfield.
Richfield, home
Played
of
there.
the Holy Angels and former Minnesota Whitecaps.
Okay.
They used to play there.
Okay, because I've played at a really small rink in Richfield.
Does it have 2 rinks in it?
Yeah,
You play at Richfield too?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe is that
That's
the
the only
one?
rink I can think of in Richfield.
Okay,
because
maybe. Oh no, yeah, I have played where that was.
They have
Okay.
rink 1 with the seats all around it. It's kind of cool old. They have Holy Angels Academy on
Yeah, I
the
played rink
scoreboard,
2.
And they still have Minnesota Whitecap stuff in there.
Okay, I've played
Crazy.
rink 2.
I think we're playing rink 1. We might be playing rink 2. I have no idea. I'll figure it when I get there.
Either way, I'd imagine there'll be plenty of seats.
There'll be plenty of seats. People are, funny enough, I'll leave it at this. And shout out to my parents, but they came out on Father's Day because we had a game at 6 p.m. at Breck, so it was early enough for them to come out. And my mom asked me, like, they don't charge you to get in, do they?
Oh my god.
I'm like,
Oh my god.
I'm like, imagine them charging $5 to get into like a men's league hockey game. It's like, yeah, we see don't see any of that.
You guys definitely have to pay to get in, but
yeah, we
pay to
have
play
to
for
pay.
the ice time.
It's free, yeah. There's a line around the block to get into these weekly men's leagues games, man.
All time.
That'd be awesome. But yeah,
All right, Jake.
I do have to bounce.
Thanks
but,
for joining us.
yeah.
Good luck.
Bye.
We'll see you later.
Good luck.
No, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, don't tear
I'm gonna
anything.
tear something.
Don't tear anything.
All right, we'll see you later.
If you're gonna tear anything, tear it up.
Oh, sure. That one. All right, we'll see you.
All right, see ya, dude. All right, let's rock this. Me and you, Sarge, the rest.
Yeah.
So, just another kind of random, interesting, very appropriate story for summer. A longtime lobbyist from Minnesota, I believe Woodbury area, faces felony charges after allegedly threatening to shoot lawmakers at the Minnesota Capitol, detailing how much ammo he had and his intent to quote-unquote blow somebody's face off, which pretty poor timing coming on the heels of what happened last weekend
Yes.
with murdering lawmakers, specifically in Minnesota. So here were some of the texts he sent to quote-unquote a dear friend of 16 years. I would imagine you guys aren't friends anymore. Today I bought 500 bullets. I can't wait to shoot one of you motherfuckers in the face. These were all texts sent, by the way, to a representative of some sort. Quote unquote, excited to have my gun at the Capitol and blow someone's fucking face off. You're a shit person, and I can't wait to pop in your motherfucking pop one in your motherfucking head. Sorry, typo on my end. Yeah, just not exactly a great time to be violent in Minnesota Capitol Hill.
Oh no, man. That is. I don't know why I'm laughing. These are pretty.
I mean, they're pretty aggressive
Yeah, they're
texts.
super. Yeah.
Apparently, the guy who got these texts immediately left work and locked himself in his house, which I would too,
Yeah, that sounds about
especially
right.
after a psychopath went around killing Minnesota lawmakers last weekend. Just terrible, terrible, terrible stuff.
It really is. I mean,
You got the article up.
yeah, the timing of this is honestly so ironic.
I don't think he thought through that. I think if this would have happened any other time of the year, it would still be bad, but it wouldn't be as bad as deciding to do it a week after
Yeah.
what happened.
4 days after. So
Oh,
these,
4
these
days,
came
yeah.
out the 18th, and unfortunately that terrible event happened.
Last Saturday.
Yeah, the 14th. Wait, did I say the 14th? These came out the 18th. That tragedy happened the 14th. So I mean, this guy is
What
something else.
what is the worst punishment you can get for a text message? Is threatening to kill someone can land you a couple years in jail, right?
It has to. I mean, especially. I mean, especially since he has like the bullet count and threatened.
That's not even like is that like conspiracy?
It's got to be. His court date's August 27th.
I mean, we've all gotten mad and have angrily texted someone, but could you imagine if it basically costed you like your entire life? Because he's never going to be a lobbyer ever again.
No.
He might go to jail. He might go to jail with the Twins pitcher. They can play catch.
Yeah, right?
Fuck, dude. If you're having a bad day and you do this, that's tough.
Dude, you know what he needed? He needed a Snickers, man.
He needed a Snickers or some fucking weed.
Yeah.
Have you also seen what this guy looks like in his mugshot? He looks like he's going to cry, which I would imagine. Yeah, after learning that your life is basically over because of just a couple angeredly sent text messages.
Yeah, I gotta imagine you got a pretty big target on your back too, as some sort of like higher up in prison. Like I obviously know police is probably number one. Well, sorry, child molesters are number one. Then it's probably police. I feel like lobbyists has got to be right up on top of that list.
Yeah, no kidding. Little side note to something we talked about earlier, just with the OKC Thunder winning the championship. There's a tweet that just got released of the table with all the alcohol in their room, their locker room, and there's so much left, so much champagne, so many beers, and the comments are hilarious. Gen Z ass team, Luca alone would have finished all that. You know, like should have rolled some blunts. I mean, the one guy even said he didn't like beer and he asked for tequila. One guy said alcohol is trash. That's just not true.
Not true.
So, anyways, that was just a little wrinkle. Yeah. The Florida Panthers would have finished all of that and then still would have gone out to the bar afterwards.
All right, this is still off topic, but like, did you see how lame the celebration was right after? Like,
oh yeah,
they didn't even care.
The NBA one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of like the NHL sets the bar for celebrating a championship. There's something about hockey players where they're just absolute animals when it comes to partying and drinking. I would also argue, though, too, that the hockey players have been through more physically,
correct,
and mentally to win. Not taking away from the NBA Finals at all, but like, I mean, Matthew Tkachuk had part of his muscle hanging off his bone. I mean, I would want to get drunk too. So,
yeah, correct.
All right, let's move into our voicemails and text segments. So, this prompt was, which is this the worst stadium?
Worst stadium
in the state of Minnesota. Can include high school football fields, arenas, hockey arenas, whatever, college, you name it.
Yep. All right, we're going to go through text first, then we got 3 voicemails. So first one here, the worst stadium in Minnesota, without a doubt, no questions asked, undisputed champion of shitholes is Rochester John Marshall. It is built in front of a trailer park, and that 100-yard gravel pit, it comes to a peak at the center. So I didn't look this up, but
high school.
One of my ex-girlfriends
Yeah.
went to John Marshall, and she said it was a shithole.
Yeah. I think my cousins went there.
Okay, right on.
Comment.
Okay.
That guy texted us like 9 times.
Yeah, shout out to this
Have
guy.
a good opinion.
Worst sports venue in Minnesota that I've been to is St. Thomas Ice Arena in Mendota Heights. I went to the University of Minnesota, or University of St. Thomas men's hockey game there a couple years ago. And the place is just bland and has no atmosphere. Thank goodness the Tommies are moving out. But even for a high school hockey arena, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, that was a long text.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
They're building that big new facility, which seems pretty sweet.
Yeah. All right. The worst stadium in Minnesota is Coon Rapids High School. Not only is not only is it in Coon Rapids for stars, but it's all across the fucking street from the school and locker room. You need to cross the street in full gear and then almost go around the tennis court to get on the field. So they're talking about their football stadium.
That's brutal.
I didn't know that.
Brutal.
I know they upgraded their hockey rink.
Our high school field, we had to walk for football. Well, actually, high schoolers didn't. But when I was in middle school and I played football, yes, I got murdered. We had to walk like a couple blocks to get to where we played, and that was in full gear. So I kind of feel that.
All right, and then we have another St. Thomas. So the St. Thomas football stadium, worse than half the high schools in the state.
Now I thought that one's like turf. It looks kind of nice from the outside.
I think
probably just the seating.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of seating.
Special. It's on like a track. I've been there a few times because my buddy played lacrosse there, and I got to go on the field. It is definitely nothing special
Okay,
by
fair.
any means.
Fair.
But let's get into the voicemails here.
All right, let's listen.
MSUM, Minnesota State University Moorhead Stadium is buns, and well, you always gotta throw in a diner no matter what. Fuck a diner. And then out of like the big sports teams and everything, Twins is gonna be elite across the whole country no matter what. So no, if anybody says Target Field ever, or you can call us in about it, they don't even know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But like, I gotta say it, Target Center.
Target Center
Only
sucks.
NBA stadium with more seats above than below.
Oh.
Did not know
It's a
that.
little tight sometimes. I mean, there could be a little bit more improvements, but yeah, right now it's gotta be Target Center in the pro sports world of things.
Yeah, Target Center is also one of the oldest basketball arenas in the NBA. Is it like tied for the oldest one in the NBA?
There's no way because Madison Square Garden's been around.
Well, I know it's at least top 5.
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
seen a stat around
Yeah,
it.
it's not that great. You're gonna see a recurring theme here.
The worst sports stadium in all of Minnesota has got to be Target Center.
Yeah.
The food, trash. The seating, trash. I mean, it needs an update when we get these new owners coming in or whatever's going on. I'm not even a Minnesota fan. I'm more of a Warriors fan myself and a UNC fan, so go Tar Heels. We
Okay.
own the Gophers, obviously. So thank you.
I mean, yeah, everyone owns the Gophers right now.
Yeah.
That's
Hopefully that'll change
it's a
someday.
good chirp. I mean, it's true, I guess. So you're right.
All right, and the last one here.
To answer your question, I'm going to say Target Center because I haven't been to Target Center in over 11 years. The last time I was there, I was playing actually on the court with the old logo, and it's fucking amazing. I'm fucking drunker than shit. Woo! Also, the last thing you want to hear your prostate exam is licking on hands. Oh, I'm drunk. Peace.
Okay. That guy was hammered.
That guy was hammered.
That
I
guy
love
was,
it.
That guy was fucked up, but he was right, dude. Target Center's the theme. Target Center needs to be redone. I know they have a plan to do it. I guess I don't know when that is. I would think the way the team's been playing and the Lynx have played, I think they've both earned a new stadium.
100% agree.
It's not like they are bad and there's no reason to rebuild a stadium. So I agree. Knock it down, put it up. During construction, though, the one question I have, like during construction, where would they play? Would they play at the barn? I
feel
guess.
Like, I guess.
Kind of fun. I mean, there's not a lot of seats there.
I can't, the last time I was in the barn, I was like 5 years old, so I really don't even know.
I went there 3 times this year, and I can tell you it's pretty small for an NBA team, but it would also kind of be cool to watch them play in there. It's
I bet it
so
would.
historic. So, all right, folks, before we close out, next week's prompt is going to be, what is the best bar in Minnesota?
Ooh.
The entire state, where is the best watering hole? This can be for, I guess, location. This could be the food, the drinks. It could be the music. I guess whatever reason you think it could be the best bar, go ahead and shout it out. Make sure to call, text. Sarge, you want to read the number?
Yeah, maybe call us when you're there and having a few, too.
Yeah.
That would even put a nice little wrinkle into it. Fuck you, Siri. 651-300-2129 is the number.
Yes. So best bar in Minnesota. Let us know why. Thank you, folks, once again for listening/watching to another episode of 10K TV. You can tune in every Monday live on YouTube, X, Facebook. Used to be Instagram. We're working on that. But you can also listen back at 10K TV anywhere you get your podcasts or 10K TV on YouTube. Keep drinking Captain's Patch, folks. CaptainsPatch.com. Check out the rest of the merch. 10K